Oh, it's Wednesday. It looks like it might be threatening a bit of rain coming soon. Got to go off to the supermarket, just get some more rolls and maybe bacon. I'll see how I feel about that. But yeah, got to get some greens, usual sort of stuff. Every 3 days go out and do that. So very bleak headlines on the Herald Sun saying that the Victoria... God, it's noisy here today. Yeah, saying that job prospects, the economy in Victoria is really looking bad. And yeah, it's a bit of a worry, but there's another major worry, and this is actually getting back to what I said in a couple of videos ago in my previous walk and talk, and that was about how the cure may be worse than disease. And a classic example of that is what's happening in the aviation industry. There's a group called Swiss something or other. I can't remember what was the last name, but they provide ancillary services for aviation in Australia. And because now Virgin's gone belly up, they're looking at starting to sell all their equipment, things like baggage handling equipment, security equipment, a whole lot of stuff. I think they make up about 25% of the stuff that's used in aviation in Australia, so it's quite substantial. And if this stuff is sold, you know, it's going to take a long time to get this back again, so it's going to diminish the capacity of airports for some time. This is the long-term damage that's going to be done by the reaction to this virus, and I think it is becoming an overreaction. There's been a lot of hysterical forecasts by supposed experts about how many deaths there'd be. It's been nowhere near it. It's just crazy stuff. So I don't know, do people just like being frightened out of their skins? Maybe that's the case, that's the modern world, but it's doing so much harm to the economy. We're going to be feeling this for years to come, I think. It's really bad. So the sooner we can get back to some semblance of normalcy, the better, I think. But I think that more people are asking for that now. I'm hoping that message is getting through. It's spinning a bit, so I have to stop shooting right now. And, whew, super crowded walking out of Woolies. I've never seen so many people. Obviously a popular day to get out and about. Well, and it's actually not great weather either. It's pretty wet. Just saw the most obese person I've seen in Cairns my time here as well. They'd fit in any big city in Australia. Yeah, I'm as I've said to you before, I'm pretty concerned about the economy, and I just believe we really need to kickstart things again very soon. And as I said, I think it sort of backs up what I said about the airlines. I said, even if we need to open the airports again, and this is not just talking from a Cairns perspective, because it is vitally important to Cairns that we get the transport routes going again, because we depend on it more than most places. But just for the general economic health of the country, just like I say, make it very stringent when you're in the airport. You have to wear a mask. You get fined if you don't. They wipe down all the surfaces after use. You just have people doing it all the time. It can be done. And let's be honest, we're not doing that badly. The danger period will be in winter, and especially down in, say, a place like Victoria, which apparently is an absolute economic basket case, the way things are going. That was the headline in the Herald Sun today. So they've got a lot of work to do, and given that they've got old Daniel Andrews at the helm, he'll crack down on any relaxation of these edicts about social distancing. He's going to be really tough. I mean, I am so glad I'm not living in Melbourne anymore. It's a hell of a lot better here. Like I say, apart from people in my flats, this is the weird thing. People in my flats are really worried about contact. I've struck this with 2 neighbours. But people I go just walk out and about with in Cairns, they don't seem to give a stuff. Most people in Cairns just don't seem to care much about social distancing. It's just not even a concept in their mind. But for some reason, my block of flats, two neighbours I've come in contact with recently have both been very wary. And it's a sad thing when people are just wary to be close to other people. It's a frightening thing. And there are people saying, is there some sort of conspiracy theory behind this? It's a way of government control because people don't interact with one another, and I guess it makes them more vulnerable. So who knows? Possible. I mean, I think a few state premiers and also governors over in the US have shown that this is a good opportunity for them to flex their autocratic muscles. They're quite happy. I think it was might have been the governor of Michigan or something came in for a lot of stick over the pretty heavy-handed tactics used there. And the same could be said for the New South Wales government. That's been pretty ordinary too. Yeah, it does give people who've got that sort of inclination an opportunity to flex their muscles. And all societies have these sorts of people living in the shadows in effect, and given an opportunity to use that power, they will exercise it. So always got to be wary and do not take civil liberties for granted, because this is the exception rather than the rule throughout history, what we're experiencing right now. Just got to remember that. It's easy to think that we're securely fixed in this position, but that's not the case at all. Things can change quite rapidly. It's human nature for you, very flexible. So I just don't assume that that democracy, freedom of expression, things like that are entrenched. They're not. So just be wary and fight for your rights when you think that they've been trodden on. I think everyone needs to remember that. But unfortunately, I think a lot of people now have been fairly cowed by everything. So it's a pity. I think there's more of a fighting spirit in the country when we first inhabited it, but these days I think we've lost a lot of our mojo. It's a bit of a shame. Well, it feels good to be out today. It's a nice day. Actually, there's no rain this afternoon. It's totally cleared up, so that's good. Just going back to Dan Murphy's to get resupplied. Apparently the grog shops are doing really well. I was just thinking too, you know who would be doing extremely badly is countries in the Persian Gulf, especially places like Qatar, because their economy is based on oil, which has just basically fallen through the bottom, fallen down the well. Currently the price has just absolutely collapsed. And on top of that, airlines can't operate there. But their backup business model was to be an airline hub, which they did very successfully up until recently, until coronavirus. So the Persian Gulf countries, some of those are being hit really hard by this, much worse than even Australia. I've never seen it this busy at Murphy's before. That's incorrect. It's a really long line, 2 lines waiting to get through. So never encountered this before. You usually just go straight up to the counter. So I'm going to try some saki for a change. See how that goes. There's someone trying to come on the side. Well, there's a hell of a lot of traffic on the road today. This is very strange because I think it's still school holiday, so it's probably about 3:30. God, unfortunately getting more wind. I'm trying to record this, but the elements aren't helping me today. The bus trip was free of charge as usual, so that hasn't changed. But I've never seen Dan Murphy that busy before. Last time, this is Wednesday, I was there on a Saturday, and I would have thought Saturday would be busy, but it wasn't. But today is crazy. That's a bus, or maybe it's a bus coming. Yeah, it could be. I can't tell with my eyesight, it's too far away from me, but I'll just put out the hand, because this bus stop is sort of in from the main road, so you've really got to give them some idea that you want to get on, especially considering I'm not paying for it, isn't it? Well, there's never any money in it for them anyway, and bus drivers hardly doing it for tips. There's not going to get that. Well, it was good. Got the bus up there direct and got it back direct. Didn't know there's crap stopping at the supermarket or the shopping centre on the way, so that was good. Although I've got to go back there and pick up an item that was sent through the mail earlier today. So another area that's heating the heat up here as far as lack of patronage is concerned is the new aquarium. Apparently that's in financial strife, so there's a lot of hurt happening. I think Cairns will recover faster than, say, Melbourne. Melbourne's supposed to be in for a real shocker, and they're going to have the double edge of losing a lot of jobs. They put a lot of investment into teaching overseas students, so of course they're going to be hit really hard. And on top of that, they've got a winter waiting for them. And the prediction is that the economy is going to go in for a real dive in Victoria especially, and the house prices are going to plummet. I don't think it's going to happen as badly here because they're always cheaper anyway. And there's a demand for properties in a tropical environment, especially when you've got a coronavirus in winter. It's going to be even more so, I would think, this year. So I don't think it's going to be as bad here, luckily, so it's a good move to come up here. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever, and either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.